Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get into edging out our new flower bed that we just planted the service berries in. I'm using a few simple tools here, such as a string line, a flat edge shovel, a stake, and my step edger from Corona. I simply just place my line at one end and bring it to the next, making sure that it's where I want it, and I make sure that the line is flat to the ground so that if you have a dog like myself, you are able to avoid having her trip over it or yourself. And this also makes it easier when you're using the step edger to not keep jostling the line around. Just double check to make sure that it's as straight as possible. You can measure out your edges. Unfortunately, I don't have a very straight line on the opposite side due to the retaining wall, so I just eyeball it. Using the step edger, you're just going to line up the line with the blade, or in my case, I was using the front edge of the step that's attached to it. You'll notice here in a little bit that it didn't quite turn out exactly the way it was supposed to because I ended up getting distracted, I think, at some point, and I moved away from what I was using as my guide on the step edger. While we're in the middle of our process here, I'll introduce you to our dog, Marlo. She is a golden retriever mix. We're not quite sure what she is just yet, but she is coming up on 4 months old on the 6th. And she's like having another child. We forgot what puppy stage was like, but she's turning out to be quite fun, and we enjoy having her around. So what you'll see now is I'm taking the flat edge shovel after I've gotten my edge cut out, and I'm going back with it at a 45-degree angle and taking out the grass. Now you'll need to find an area to put this grass. You can flip it over in a bed if you're using cardboard to cover up any of the grass and whatnot, but in this step I'm actually going to be removing it because of the incline that I'm already at. I'm just cleaning out the edges, making sure they're nice and crisp, and this is what it looks like and what you're going to be left with. I didn't quite get my wheelbarrow set up like I should have, but I also had a low spot that I needed to take care of, and I wanted to rake out some of the loose dirt to keep, some dirt around. You don't want to get rid of all your goodness. And then now you can enjoy the zoomies that Marlo is having. Just discard whatever you don't need. This is going to go over into a retaining wall area that we have near the fire pit area to help build up that soil. And then I'm going to start in on our corner that we have here that goes into our walkway. Same process, step edging, and then I will pull the string and go in and get rid of the dirt from this area. If you need to, go ahead and turn the shovel sideways and you can get in with it a little bit better. Sometimes, depending, I use this usually in corners or areas that plants are already really tight to the edges. It allows me not to have to be in the bed, but as you can see, I have plenty of room to work in, so I can use it either way. So it is the next day, and I want to get these boxwoods into the ground. I've actually had these on our front porch for, well, since spring, and I potted them up in this pot, well, these pots, and I had them slipped inside some very large terracotta ones flanking our front door. These were also rescue plants. Somebody had them at the back of a duplex, and they wanted easier mowing, so I gladly went out, dug them up, and brought them home. This one did not put out a substantial amount of new roots, which concerns me, but I know once it's in the ground, it'll be much happier, and it probably was one of the ones that were more shaded, so it didn't put on a lot more growth. But I'm going to start by just placing where I think I wanted it, and now I'm going to start digging the hole. When it comes to transplanting any plant, make sure that you have it at the correct depth. You don't want to bury it any deeper than it already is, and you might even want to double check that in case with shrubs and trees that you do have the root flare showing a bit, so you may have to adjust that level. If you're nervous and can't determine, just bump up your root ball to about an inch above the soil grade and you should be perfectly fine. If there's one thing that takes me forever is planting the plant, because I generally make sure that every large piece of dirt is crumbled down to the finest grain and around a plant's root ball. There's just something about getting your hands dirty and just feeling the dirt and taking your time to just calm down. We are officially on day 3 of this small project. I do a lot of this either on the weekends in the morning, or I do it on days after work. So it's in the evening time where I'm really trying to chase the sun and make sure I have enough light while I'm working. But I just got the other one and I'm just trying to figure out where I would like it to evenly match at. I'm not measuring any distance. I do a lot of things by eyeballing because it's just sometimes your plants aren't going to be the same size and you're going to just figure it out from there. Now, this one, I don't know what happened. My word, it was ridiculous. It literally was giving me the ride of my life trying to get it out of this pot. It had a root that was much larger in it that I had forgot I had to kind of shove into this pot, and literally was killing my hands. I was throwing it on the ground. I was beating it to death, trying to get it out of this pot to loosen. And I didn't realize just how much root growth it put on, but it wasn't root bound. So you'll see here in just a second as I'm finally figuring out tilting the plant and jamming my fingers in between the pot and the root ball where I was scraping up my hand to get this out, that it looks really, really happy and healthy, which I'm very happy about, but you can kind of see my struggle from here. It got so hot out while I was dealing with this that I had to take my jacket off. I was in the sun, still struggling trying to get this thing out, rocking it back and forth, and finally it was popped. It popped, it came out, and it wasn't even filling up that whole pot. But the root growth was amazing, so I quickly just got right into digging the hole so I could get this in. This was a substantially larger hole because of the root ball on it. As you can see, I really like to get a lot of the potting soil off of the plant to make sure that the roots have a good contact with the soil in my garden. All the good stuff is right there in your own garden, such as mycorrhizae and nutrients that the plant will get established a lot faster. Any of the potting soil that does come off of it, I do just spread on top of the soil and just let it decompose and get broke down, naturally. But I want to make sure that the roots on the plant have direct contact with the good soil in my garden. So that is going to wrap up today's video. You can kind of see a sneak peek of what we'll be doing next time. I think the Boxwoods came out great, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.